And on the 8th day, God looked down on his planned paradise and said, I need a caretaker. So God made a farmer.
Howdy folks, Darren back with you here at Cross Timbers Farm. Welcome to 8th Day Chronicles. Very happy to have you with us today. Thank you for dropping by our channel. We really appreciate it. If you haven't, we'd appreciate it if you'd subscribe and join our family. We're here in the barnyard with our tractor today, and over the last year probably, I've had a few questions about our tractor. Some folks asked some curious questions. What model is your tractor? Is your tractor four-wheel drive? Things of that nature. That I realized I've never really addressed. Disclaimer right up front. I did not grow up on a tractor as a farm kid like a lot of folks did. My intimate knowledge of tractors is fairly good, but I am no expert. I'm pretty mechanically minded, and I know how most machines work. I know how this tractor works. I do enjoy tractors, and on a small farm, a tractor is probably one of your biggest investments, and it's probably one of your most used pieces of equipment. We use our tractor regularly, basically year-round. Life on a small family farm without a tractor is tough. This machine allows me to do so much more work around the farm so much quicker and efficiently than if I didn't have one. And some things you just can't do without one. So we several years ago we bought our tractor, and it is a Kubota L3200. It's the L series Kubota, four-wheel drive. We purchased our Kubota several years ago, and this machine has performed for us flawlessly. We have had basically zero issues with this tractor. That's unusual for this day and age. Man, I'm telling you, I could not have put in an order for a tractor to run from the day we bought it till this present time and give me zero issues, zero problems, zero maintenance problems. This machine has been worth every single penny we paid for it. And it has performed flawless. I cannot say anything bad about it. Now, that being said, my luck tomorrow, it'll tear up. Something will break. But to this point, this machine has ran. You could not ask for anything better. Disclaimer again, I am no tractor expert. There's guys out there that are tractor experts. I am not. I do like to think I'm somewhat knowledgeable on them, but not as much as other people. I'm going to give you this overview of our tractor, layman's terms. Some folks watching this that are really into tractors and know their stuff are going to go, hey, that's the wrong terminology, yada, yada, yada. I'm a farmer that's out in the hay field. I'm more concerned about my hay than I am knowing the intricacies and very minute details of my tractor. I know this tractor runs. I know how to run it. I know how to drive it. I know how to hook things to it. I know how to service it, and I'll leave it at that. Anything further than that, I'm going to the dealership probably. Third disclaimer, I am not color loyal to a tractor. I have had excellent service from this Kubota machine. Been 100% pleased with it. Well, maybe I shouldn't say 100. There's always something about a machine you wished was a little different. I'll just say I am very pleased with this machine. Would I be pleased with a green tractor? Probably. Would I be pleased with a red or blue tractor? Probably. I can speak from my experience. This has been a fantastic machine. If I can get on a tractor and it will do all my farm chores around the farm, mow my hay, rake my hay, bale my hay, the loader works good, I can put pallet forks and things on it and use it. I can put stuff on the 3-point and it has a sufficient lift and I can use it. I don't care what color it is. I like tractors. I know folks out there that are green tractor fanatics, and it's the old Ford Chevy thing. I don't go there. If it'll get with the Ford Chevy thing, I'm kind of this way with a tractor. If it'll get me to point A to point B safely and efficiently and do the task at hand that I put it to doing, I'm good with it. This machine has done that, and I'm very happy with it. There is a few things I would change that I wish, features that maybe it had that it doesn't, that would make me even more pleased with it. But I'm talking about as it is, knowing what you're getting when you buy it, this machine has performed flawlessly. And this machine is a gear drive model. And I'm going to get into a little bit of why I chose a gear drive. I did do a lot of research on that. The hydrostat models versus the gear drive models. They both have pros and cons. But for my application, yours may be very different. For my application, the gear drive model made more sense for us. Okay, I got a cheat sheet here. As I said before, this is a Kubota L3200. And I've got a cheat sheet here from tractordata.com. The Kubota L series was made from 2011 to 2014. And I said the L series, I should have specified the L series model 3200. It is the standard L series compact utility tractor. It comes in a 2-wheel drive model, a 4-wheel drive gear, and a 4-wheel drive hydro. It is a 1.5 liter 3-cylinder diesel. It is a 8-speed gear drive, meaning there's 4 forward gears, 4 reverse gears. I have a low range and a high range, which I have 4 gears forward and low, 4 gears forward and high, which makes 8, and I have 4 in reverse. It has a low and a high range. The engine horsepower is 31.9, so basically 3200 is the model, and 32 is the horsepower basically. PTO claimed horsepower at the PTO 27, and the hydrostatic transmission PTO horsepower is 25.2, which is less. There's one of the reasons I went with a gear drive. Better horsepower at the PTO. It does have the rear standard differential lock. It has hydrostatic power steering, wet disc brakes, foldable ROPS, 10-gallon fuel capacity. The rear 3-point lift is 1,998 pounds. That's at the very end of the 3-point arms. So right at 2,000 pounds on the rear lift. The wheelbase is 63.3 inches. The tractor weighs 2,623 pounds. And it does have the LA524 loader on the tractor. Ours does. And you can put a backhoe on this tractor if you so desired. Now, one reason we went with a gear drive tractor, I watched a video of pulling power between two identical Kubota L3200 tractors. These two are the same year model, same engine size, same everything. They were identical, even to the same tire tread. The only difference in these two tractors was one was a gear drive or a HST or hydrostatic transmission. They took these two tractors and put a chain to the drawbar on the back and put a weight scale on this chain hooked to a 10,000 pound weight. They put these tractors at the same RPMs and pull on them to see which tractor produced the most pulling power. When I watched this video, I was shocked. And actually, the dealership that done this, when the guy done it, he even said, I'm maybe not exact words, but he said, I'm shocked at the difference. They hooked to them. The hydrostatic transmission pulled on the weigh scale 1,120 pounds. That's pretty good. I was like, wow, that's pretty good pulling power for a 3901. They hooked the gear drive model to it. It pulled 3,066 pounds on the scale. Let that sink in a minute. The HST pulled 1,120. The gear drive model pulled 3,066 pounds. The difference was so big, it was kind of shocking. I had to watch that video 2 or 3 times. I was like, wow, what a difference. However, there's pros and cons to each of those transmissions, the gear drive and the hydrostatic. If you're doing a job where you're running back and forth between a gravel pile and your driveway and you're spreading gravel, or you're running from a dirt pile to a ditch on your farm and you're filling in a ditch or whatever you're doing, and back and forth, the gear drive model will wear your leg out, pushing in that clutch constantly, shifting in the reverse. The hydrostat model, so much easier to use. The gear drive requires a clutch. If you're used to driving a manual transmission truck or car, you know what I'm talking about in stop and go traffic. If you have to do that all day long on your tractor, it can become tiresome. However, if the main uses of your tractor is going to be going along, pulling a hay rake, you're going to be rotary cutting with a bush hog, and you're just making laps, the additional power of this direct transmission, this gear drive transmission, for my application and to me, far outweighed the benefits of what I would be doing with it with a hydrostat. Now, your situation may be totally different. When we bought this tractor, we were not cutting our own hay at that time. We bought the tractor well before we bought any hay equipment. We were using the tractor to haul hay back and forth and pull fence posts out of the ground, haul fencing equipment, haul feed. We were using it for, and we still do, for a lot of different things. For every application we use this gear drive tractor for has worked perfectly. One thing that this tractor, the L3200, and from my research, this is one of the very few Kubota tractor models that does not have a live PTO. This does not. For all the applications we use this thing for, like I mentioned a minute ago, rotary cutting, before we got into hay, using the front loader, using a box blade, using all these things, the live PTO had no bearing. It was a non-issue. Worked perfectly. When we got into cutting our own hay, I quickly found out that it works perfectly with this small scale hay equipment, and this size tractor is like a hand in the glove. This size tractor with that small scale hay equipment is perfect, a perfect match. Every piece of hay equipment that we use with this tractor, the drum mower, the tedder, the hay rake, absolutely zero issues with a non-live PTO. That was no problem. The tractor done the job perfectly. The non-live PTO was not an issue. However, with the hay baler, that's the only piece of equipment that we had an issue with a non-live PTO. When we hooked the baler to our Kubota L3200 with the non-live PTO, okay, I'm going to go through some steps so you'll understand what I'm talking about. You've got your baler hooked to your tractor, you're driving along and straddling your windrows, and you're picking up hay, you're making a bale. Hay is being fed into this baler through the hay pickup. The hay pickup runs when the PTO is running. Okay, the PTO power has to be applied to this baler for anything on it to work. The twine wrap, anything like that, the PTO power has to be going to the baler. Okay, when we first started using this baler, driving along, we're picking up hay. All of a sudden the twine arm falls, indicating our bale is full. The bale chamber is full. This bale has reached appropriate size. It's time to start twine wrapping it. All of a sudden, with a gear drive transmission, you have to stop. You don't want this baler to keep running and picking up hay, driving along while it's trying to twine wrap. If you do that, it's going to continue to pick up hay, and your twine's trying to wrap at the same time, and you're going to end up with the messiest looking bale you ever seen in your life, with hay just falling off of it. So when it starts to twine wrap, you have to come to a complete stop and sit there and let this baler do the twine wrap process and eject the bale. With a non-live PTO, when the bale arm falls, the alarm goes off, you push in the clutch to let it do the twine wrap. All of a sudden, the power from the PTO to the baler stops because you pushed in the clutch. It's a non-live PTO. The power to it stops. The whole process stops. It stops twine wrapping. At that point, you have to shift the transmission into neutral, let the clutch back out to deliver power back to the PTO. The PTO takes back off spinning, delivering power to the baler. The baler twine wraps, and I had some issues with the baler not wanting to pick that twine up once it had already started. Then you stop it due to the diameter of the twine we were using at that time. And if this interests you, we have a playlist of small scale hay equipment. Go back to the review of our baler. We did an initial review and a 1.5 year review. Go back to that 1.5 year review and I explain this in detail. But anyway, the power stops. You have to shift into neutral, let your clutch back out. The power takes back off to the baler. The baler continues the twine wrapping process. You can eject the bale. Then when the process is over, you have to push the clutch back in on your tractor, shift back into either low or high range, whichever you're on, let the clutch back out and take back off picking up hay. with a hydrostatic transmission or a live PTO, when you push the clutch, that PTO shaft keeps turning. When we purchased our tractor, we had, at that very moment in time, we had no plans on hay equipment. We were having another gentleman cut our hay for us, and the thoughts had been there for several years about cutting our own hay, but we had not committed to that. Even if we were going to start cutting our own hay when we bought the tractor, I'm not so sure that it would have dawned on me about the non-live PTO affecting this baler anyway. A square baler, it wouldn't. You're going right along and you don't have to stop. But with a round baler, you do. And if we had not have purchased this mini round baler, let's just pretend these things did not even exist, we would have went with the smallest square baler we could find. And you don't have to stop. You just keep rolling, making hay, and it's pushing the bales out the back as you're making hay. I think everybody's probably saw a square baler work. But with this baler, stopping to let it twine wrap creates several extra steps with a non-live PTO you have to learn to deal with. I've baled so many bales of hay with this little baler and the tractor that I have learned I can shift those gears. I don't mean to sound braggy, but I can, as soon as that alarm falls, I can clutch the tractor, have it in neutral, and the clutch back out pretty darn fast. And when it's done, I can have the tractor back into low range or high range, and the clutch back out and going along, picking up more hay, lightning fast. But to start with, I struggled with it for a little while. It's like anything else. The more you do it, the better you get at it. So some people says a non-live PTO, oh, you can't use a round baler with a non-live PTO. You can. It just adds some extra steps. One of the things we did to our tractor, because of our sloped, hilly terrain here on our farm, that makes it so difficult to use a tractor on in places because of the steepness of that land. One thing we did to our tractor, well, actually two, let's say two, I'll address both of them, that made our tractor so much more stable that the comparison was unreal. The difference in the tractor being set in one configuration on those hillsides versus the other was night and day difference. This way was so much better. As you can see, the Kubota tires and wheels can be switched to outset instead of inset. You can see here the gap we have on each rear tire, where these tires have been, and these wheels have been flipped around and outset to make the tires come out wider on this tractor. You can see how much wider they set out from the fender wells. That added so much stability to this tractor on hillsides that the difference was night and day. Very easily done. It's just a matter of switching your rims and tires. Same thing on the front. We switched these, and we switched the front as well, so that our wheelbase is wider than the way this tractor came at its factory configuration. I would do this 100 times over on any tractor that has this ability to do this. And I'm not sure if some of the other green or blue or red tractors will do that. I know this, the Kubota wheel, and this is a huge benefit if you're on sloped terrain. The second thing we did to add stability to our tractor is we added ballast to our rear tires. Adding that additional weight where that weight is in the tires from 3/4 full all the way to the ground. That weight staying right down on the ground to keep your center of gravity low and add stability to the back of your tractor, especially if you have a bucket full of gravel or dirt or something heavy on your loader. And it really, really helps on sloped ground. When we had them inset from the way the tractor was, I assume from the factory, compared to this, there is no comparison. This is so much better. However, if I needed this tractor to fit between row crops or something like that, then I could always inset these rims and tires. But I don't see that happening here. Having this wider stance. Okay, we did go with a tractor with ag tires. When we bought a tractor, that was one of the requirements I had for a tractor. I did not want the turf tires or the new industrial, I think they're called an R4 tire. While don't get me wrong, they're good, but for our application on these steeper sloped hillsides, I wanted ag tires. I think the ag tires on steeper terrain have a huge benefit over the rest. That's a personal opinion. There's a few things about this tractor that is not significant. It's not a deal breaker, but I would change. You have a grab handle here on the left side of the tractor. You have your hang down footstep to get on board. So you got a grab handle here. You can grab and put a hand on the loader here and step right up. The opposite fender does not have a grab handle. They do not put a grab handle on the opposite side, and I don't understand why. The hole is already in the fender for it. You have to order this separate and put a grab handle on it. It makes a fantastic armrest. It needs one on the other side. I mean, you're gonna leave a $20 part off this tractor to save 20 bucks. I don't understand that. Put a grab handle on the other side as just standard and not have to buy it extra. I do wish this model had tilt steering. This standard L series and the 3200 of this year model does not have tilt steering. I wished it had a tilt steering. It's small things. Overall, would I buy this tractor again? I don't know. And the reason I say that is because of the live PTO. Would I buy a gear drive tractor again? Absolutely, I would. If I were going tomorrow to buy a new tractor or look the used market for a very lightly used with maybe 70, 80 hours on it tractor, I would buy a live PTO model just because we started baling hay. One reason I would buy a Kubota tractor over a green tractor, quick attach system on the loader. With the Deeres, you have to buy Deere specific loader attachments. They have kind of designed, someone correct me if I'm wrong, but from all the research I did when I was buying a tractor, the Deeres had their own quick attach system that you had to buy their loader attachments or a loader attachment that was made specifically for a Deere. With this Kubota, I can go to any skid steer quick attach loader attachment, and they will hook right up to this loader. I can, right now on the front of this loader, I have a Titan's implement pallet fork frame, and I have the pallet forks in the barn. And by the way, don't get Titan implement brand mixed up with Titan attachments. Two totally different companies. it was such a confusion that Titan Implement recently changed their name. And I don't remember the name they went to. If you're looking at small scale haying equipment, a 25 to 45 horsepower tractor is a perfect marriage to this small scale hay equipment. You could go, and that's just a range. You could go a little less or maybe even a little more. But this tractor size is absolutely phenomenal with our small scale haying equipment. So we have been very, very pleased with our Kubota. Was it worth our investment? Absolutely. So I'm not brand loyal with tractors. I like tractors. I've been on green ones, red ones, blue ones, orange ones, a couple kind of orange ones. And I think there's a lot of good machines out there. One factor in buying a tractor is how close are you to a good dealership. That means a lot when you have to have if you have issues you can't solve with your tractor and you have to trailer that tractor to a dealership for repair. If my nearest Kubota dealership was 200 miles away, I'd have went on a Kubota probably. We do have a Kubota dealership about 50 miles away. One thing that I do look at is longevity and resale value, even though I have no plans on selling this tractor, but you never know what tomorrow may bring. Resale value, available parts. Will this company be around 10 years from now? We've all seen the route some of these tractor companies have went in the last year or two. Branson Tractor, for example, gone. And I understand TYM bought them up and probably maybe still be able to service them, but the Branson Tractor in and of itself, the brand is gone. Servicing this machine every year, engine oil changes, engine filter changes, fuel filter changes, hydraulic filter changes, hydraulic fluid changes, front axle fluid changes, all that. Even someone like me, I can take a day and change every fluid on this machine myself with no issues. I don't have to have some kind of ASE certified mechanic certificate to do, or tractor certifications. I can do it, and I'm sure you could too, probably much better than me. Excellent little machine, very happy with it. I don't find much information on the internet as far as reviews or anything on the L3200. I realize this tractor was made from 2011 to 2014, and this particular model has been out of production for some time. But basically, if you look at a lot of the other models that they're still making, there's differences. There's a lot of similarities. I wouldn't really consider this a review. This is not a review of the Kubota L3200. This is just a video to show you what our tractor is, because I've had some questions asked about it. What's the model of your tractor? What's the horsepower of your tractor? When they see it in the baling videos. One tractor that I would just absolutely love to have, I'd love to have an old Ford 8N in really good shape. But hope you've enjoyed taking a look at our Kubota. It is 4-wheel drive L3200. If you found a used L3200 that you're considering buying, and and you're looking for some information on YouTube on one, there's not a lot of information out there, but I thought maybe this might help somebody and answer some questions we get. Thanks for being with us here today on the farm. We really appreciate it. Our channel's growing, and we're so grateful for that. We're grateful for our subscribers, and if you haven't subscribed, if you're so inclined, we'd love to have you part of our YouTube family. Just click the subscribe button and hang out with us here on the farm. We really appreciate it. We pray that God blesses you and your family, and hope you have a great day.